Hey people, Anthony 4x4 Diesel, don't do this. I know we've got quite a few videos on the vehicle at the moment so people can see how things work, what they really do and don't do. And there's some videos where I do things just because I do it, because I'm highly skilled and I've got all those extra qualifications. Because what ticket did I give myself? A doctorate of automotive, everything, engineering, travelling, and of course cameraman and driving and everything else. All these things combined, there's so many I couldn't even include them in a quick mention in the video, but I can do these things and you shouldn't. What am I talking about? Running the fuel this low. So cruising range I believe is down to about 44 k's. There it is, it says after we've got 44 k's to go, but what I'm trying to tell you is we've got over 100 k's to go. We've had the fuel light there for a while, so we're going to be driving on the fuel light. It works out 130 kilometers with the fuel light on. I've got some extra information here that I would like to also confirm is accurate on our scan gauge 3. We've got the fuel tank showing there's, it says, the fuel light's meant to come on when there's about 20 litres left, approximately, something like that, right? Now, of course, you've got hills, undulations and bumps, so things change a little bit. Sometimes your fuel light will go on and off again. When ours came on, it's on solid, so it's definitely on. The gauge is down low. We're over 100 k's away from fuel, and we do these things so we can tell you not to do it, but if you get yourself in these sort of circumstances so that you, instead of have a panic attack, you can drive really economically and know that maybe you've still got another 10 or 15 litres left in the tank and you might make it. And you've of course got options if worst case scenario something happens. Often it happens you can't get fuel somewhere you plan to get fuel and you've got to keep moving. Sometimes you might need to wait for fuel, or you might need to unhook a trailer and do the drive at the most economical speed and fill up and come back and get your trailer, or whatever the case may be. So obviously since we started the engine 50 minutes ago, when we had 190 kilometers to go, the vehicle says we're getting 11.6 litres per 100 k's. We've been travelling at 100 on cruise control, and we've got a slight headwind. For this trip, basically doing a lap around Australia, and for this trip we've gone clockwise, and that's pretty well equaled some sort of headwind just about all day, every day for all the driving. Anything from a light 10, 15, 20 k's an hour up to 30, 40, 50 k's an hour at times. So quite windy, quite a headwind. I don't even remember having a tailwind even once on this trip. So current fuel economy, you can see what's going on there. And yeah, 42 k's on the cruising range apparently. So we're going to be driving on empty. We'll let you know how it goes and how many litres when we fill it up, how many k's we've done, so you can see where the fuel gauge was at. I'll let you know how many litres the scan gauge said we had, and then when we fill it up, how many it took. We will probably overfill it a little bit because that's what we do. So we'll probably allow for that extra 2 litres. And yeah, so sit tight. Say your prayers for me. Hopefully we make it. No, we'll be right. We'll catch you on the next part of the video when we're at the servo after we've filled up. Okay, so cruising range now 7 k's. We're still about 70 k's from our destination. It's going pretty good, so I've decided to increase the speed back to 110. We need to chew more fuel, and the DPF has just started, so that'll help out with the chewing the fuel as well. Fuel gauge is still on the empty line, hasn't gone below it yet, so I reckon we've got plenty. Let's see. And the DPF burn continues, plus we just overtook Quad Dogs, so yep, we're giving it to it, no fear. Cruising range is nothing. DPF burn has messed with our fuel economy. Yeah, mate, that's pretty low, mate. Yeah, mate, just about out, mate. But no, we've got 12 kilometres to go. Are we going to make it, Batman? Okay, on flat ground, 10 minutes, 11 k's out of 10, it says we got 9 litres left roughly. It fluctuates a bit. Last of the fuel, I'm not saying that's accurate, wait and see. I think I have found it to be a little bit accurate and a little bit not so accurate. You really got to look at it on flat ground. To be honest, I think there was one fill where it was about 10 litres out, which means we're about to run out of fuel. Let's see. Well, we're in the driveway of the servo waiting for everyone else. Just for a bit of info here, see this 5 litres per 100 k's in the last 5 minutes? That's all in the 60 zone. That's where the 1GDs, the small engine, can be really efficient. If you're light on the gas traveling at those slow speeds, that's what you'll get. The problem is, being a small engine in a big car, as soon as you go faster, the wind resistance versus horsepower, it's a brick pushing into the wind. It's the wind resistance, what it's all about. The faster you go, the worse your fuel economy is. And you can see, look, the general rule of thumb, I'll say 50, you'll get 5 litres per 100. 100 k's an hour, you'll get 10 litres per 100. 130, you're going to get 14, 15, you know. It just varies a little bit depending on your modifications, your tyres, that sort of thing. But this is around about what you're going to get. Over here we've done 1178, which is approximately 130 k's since the fuel light came on. This fuel light up here, was it? I think I'm trying to remember now. That's right, yep. And on 0 on the range here, let's just have a look at some other stats before we fill up. After start, okay, apparently 12.6 litres per 100. That was after reset, sorry, so don't worry about that one for now. That's 136 hours driving. That's this lap around Australia so far. A lot of varying speeds. We'll cover that in a video later. Big fuel economy info for you. And the refuel, so refuel, it's not telling you, you know, how many k's you've got left because it's been on 0 for a while, but 12.6 litres per 100 since we refueled apparently, which, depending how many litres it takes, we'll give you that info once we fill up. Just waiting for these cars in front of us at the servo. Now, the other thing you probably want to know, on this scan gauge here, where it says 11.5 litres left, that fluctuates. We're sitting in the driveway at the moment, nose up, so it could be slightly wrong. What do we see? We took notice in the last 3 k's, the fluctuations, so we can give you info on that. The highest we saw was 11, what we're seeing now. And the lowest was 6.5, wasn't it? Something like that, yeah. So, but I'm not saying that's right either. Let's fill it up in a minute. And then you'll know, if you've got the scan gauge, exactly what you've got left, more or less. You know, don't ever rely on it when you're going this low. You know, we've got RAC and plenty of time, and, you know, we're feeling pretty strong. We can push, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so right now. But anyway, don't do this. I hope I said that at the start of the video. I think I did. Don't do this. I'm doing it to show you, in case, worst case scenario, in reserve, or if you're planning a trip, because it can be quite annoying thinking you need fuel and you go to fill up and it only takes 125 litres. I know people, you know, that's when it's not too low. When you've got your fuel light on, it's been for a while, and it takes 130, 135. People are going, mate, you know, I've got heaps in the tank. I didn't really want to have to carry that jerry can if I didn't have to, and, you know, they may not need to. Anyway, let's fill it up, see what happens. Oh, we've got the slow pump. This will be a while. Don't forget at EG your extra 5 cents a litre discount with your RACV card. Now the vehicle is parked on a slight nose down and to the right, so this is probably a little bit more than it would have taken on flat ground. Okay, 1179k, let's say. Just to conclude and wrap up the final bit of information, 1179k's, about 145 litres. I'd say overfilling it. We were nose down and to the driver's side, so the filler tube, it would have been every last bit. So the 145 absolute max. So with the scan gauge, allow 5 litres spare there as a minimum. So it was saying up to 11 litres there, where there was, look, there may have been, because we did overfill. So I'm going to suspect there was 7 or 8 litres in the tank. The trip computer said we got 12.6 litres per 100 k's on that tank. I worked it out, the 1178 with 145 litres roughly, 1179, works out at 12.3 litres per 100 k's, which is pretty well expected for how we were driving. We had a bit of a headwind, but we were taking a bit slower on that tank, sort of about the 110 mark, more or less. Concluded successfully without running out of fuel. Bada bing, bada boom. Catch you on the next video. Hope you liked it. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn the bell, and catch you on the next one. See ya.